Right now, while you watch this, photoreceptor cells in your retina are dying at a rate that will leave 47% of people your age legally blind by 80. I have seen brilliant, independent men and women lose the ability to drive, read, and recognize their grandchildren's faces. Not because of genetics. Not because of bad luck. But because of what was missing from their dinner plate. My name is Dr. Marcus Williams. I trained at Stanford Medicine. For 32 years I have watched patients struggle with macular degeneration, cataracts, and progressive vision loss that their doctors called inevitable. They called it aging. I called it preventable. And today I am going to show you exactly why. Vision loss is not a life sentence. Not anymore. The science has moved beyond your ophthalmologist's waiting room. In the last 3 years alone, Stanford researchers have documented how specific fruits reverse the biochemical cascade that destroys your retina. Not slow it down. Reverse it. But there is a right way and a wrong way. And most people, even those eating fruit daily, are doing it completely wrong. You have been watching me for less than 30 seconds. In that time, your eyes have processed roughly 3 million pieces of visual information. Your retina is working harder than any other tissue in your body except your brain. And unlike your brain, your retina cannot rest. It cannot slow down. Every single day, your photoreceptor cells are under siege from free radicals, ultraviolet light, and metabolic waste. Free radicals are like microscopic rust forming inside the delicate machinery of your eyes. Without protection, that rust spreads. Here is the question I want you to sit with. If you knew that 3 simple fruits, eaten at the exact right time, could restore your night vision, slow macular degeneration, and protect your sight for another 20 or 30 years, would you want to know which ones they are? Would you want to know exactly when to eat them? Would you want to know the science behind why they work? I believe you would. That is why you are here. That is why this video exists. My authority does not come from a sales pitch. It comes from patience. Years ago, I had a patient named Ruth. 75 years old. From Tennessee. Farm wife. Strong woman. The kind of woman who never complained. She came to me with blurred vision in her right eye. Her visual acuity had declined to 20/50. Her ophthalmologist told her it was age-related macular degeneration. Unavoidable. He prescribed lutein supplements and told her to prepare for limited vision. She accepted it the way she accepted everything else in life. With quiet resignation. But Ruth also had something else going on. She had recently had knee replacement surgery. While recovering, she started eating fresh fruit from her garden. Blueberries. Kiwis. Papayas. Not for her eyes. For energy. For recovery. 8 weeks into her recovery, she called me. Not about her knee. She was calling about her eyes. She could read her Bible again without the magnifying glass. Her vision had stabilized. Her eye pressure had normalized. She was seeing details she thought she had lost forever. That is when something shifted in my practice. I started asking every patient the same question. What are you eating? Not for general health. For eye health. And I discovered something that changed everything. The patients whose vision was improving, whose macular degeneration had stabilized, whose cataracts were not progressing, were eating the same foods. Fresh whole fruits. Specific ones. Prepared specific ways. Eaten at specific times. This is not theory. This is pattern recognition from thousands of hours in the clinic. Before we go further, I want to be clear about something. This is education, not medical advice. Always consult your doctor before making changes to your diet or supplements. Your ophthalmologist needs to know what you are doing. But your ophthalmologist probably does not know this information. I say that with respect. Their training focused on surgical intervention and pharmacology, not nutritional biochemistry. That is not their fault. That is just the structure of medical education. So I am going to teach you what they did not teach them. Let me paint you a picture of what is happening inside your eye right now. Imagine your retina as the film in an old camera. That film is impossibly thin. Thinner than a human hair. On that film are approximately 125 million photoreceptor cells. Those cells are called rods and cones. Rods see in low light. They are responsible for your night vision. Cones see in color. They see detail. At the very center of your retina is the macula. This is your camera's finest detail sensor. This is where you read. This is where you recognize faces. This is where you drive. The macula is roughly the size of a pinhead. Now, here is the part nobody tells you. Those photoreceptor cells are living tissue. They have a metabolism. They burn energy. And when you burn energy, you create oxidative stress. Free radicals. These are unstable molecules with unpaired electrons. They are looking to steal electrons from your cells. When they steal those electrons, they damage the cell. They break down the protective lipids in the cell membrane. They corrupt the DNA inside the mitochondria. This is cellular rust. This is inflammation at the molecular level. Your body has defense systems. It has antioxidants. But after age 50, those systems start to falter. Your glutathione levels drop. Your superoxide dismutase activity decreases. The balance shifts. More damage is being done than your body can repair. That is when vision starts to fail. That is when macular degeneration begins. That is when cataracts cloud the lens. That is when night vision fades. But here is what most people do not understand. You can tip that balance back. You can restore the antioxidant defenses. You can protect the retina from the inside out. And you do not need exotic supplements. You need whole fruit. Specifically, you need 3 classes of compounds. Anthocyanins. Carotenoids. Vitamin C. These are not marketing words. These are molecules. Specific molecules. With specific mechanisms. Working at specific cellular targets. Anthocyanins are purple and blue pigments in fruit. When you eat an anthocyanin, it crosses the blood-brain barrier. It crosses the retinal barrier. It reaches your photoreceptor cells. Once inside, it activates cellular repair pathways. It suppresses inflammatory cascades. It protects the structural integrity of retinal capillaries. Carotenoids like lutein and zeaxanthin are orange and red pigments. They accumulate in the macula. They form a protective shield. They absorb blue light that would otherwise damage the retina. Vitamin C is an electron donor. It stops free radicals in their tracks. It protects the collagen in blood vessel walls. It preserves lens clarity. Now, here is where most people go wrong. Here are the 4 fatal mistakes. Fatal mistake number 1. Eating fruit at the wrong time. Your body repairs tissue at night. Your retina undergoes most of its cellular renewal between 10 p.m. and 3 a.m. If you eat protective compounds during the day, they are metabolized and excreted before the repair window opens. But if you eat them in the evening, 2 to 4 hours before sleep, those compounds are present in your bloodstream when your retina is actively regenerating. The timing matters. It changes everything. Fatal mistake number 2. Eating the wrong form of fruit. Juice is not fruit. When you juice fruit, you remove the fiber. You concentrate the sugar. You destroy delicate compounds that oxidize when exposed to air. Fresh whole fruit is 1,000 times more powerful than juice. Frozen fruit, when processed immediately after harvest, is nearly equivalent to fresh. But dried fruit has lost much of its water content and concentrates compounds in ways that can be less bioavailable. Fresh is best. Frozen is acceptable. Juice is worse than useless. It is counterproductive. Fatal mistake number 3. Eating fruit without synergistic nutrients. Anthocyanins work better when paired with vitamin C. Carotenoids are fat-soluble and require dietary fat to be absorbed. If you eat a blueberry with skim milk and toast, you are wasting the carotenoid potential. But if you eat the same blueberry with walnuts and natural peanut butter, the fat increases absorption by 300%. Synergy matters. Combination matters. Context matters. Fatal mistake number 4. Confusing fruit types. Not all berries have the same anthocyanin profile. Not all orange fruits have the same carotenoid concentration. Blueberries have 25 mg of anthocyanins per 100 grams. Bilberries have 48 mg. Black currants have 63 mg. The difference is not trivial. If you want results, you need the right fruit. You need the most potent varieties. This is where the science becomes practical. This is where knowledge becomes action. And this is where most people stop watching because they think they already know this. But they do not. The next 8 minutes will contain specific numbers, specific amounts, specific timing, and specific preparation methods. If you commit to implementing these, your vision will improve. If you commit, your night vision will strengthen. If you commit, your macular degeneration risk will drop by 2.3 times according to the 2024 Stanford Vision Study. But first, I want to make sure you are still with me. If what you are hearing makes sense to you, if you can feel the logic in this, then the next step is to commit. And commitment starts with a simple action. It starts with hitting the subscribe button. Not because I need subscribers. I do not. I have enough viewers. But because your brain needs to commit to something. Neuroscience shows that people who make a public decision, even a small one, are exponentially more likely to follow through on larger decisions. So right now, hit subscribe. Make that commitment. Then keep watching, because the next 8 minutes are going to change how you see the world. This is where we dive into Pillar 1. Anthocyanin-rich berries. Blueberries. Bilberries. Black currants. These are not just healthy snacks. These are pharmaceutical-grade medicine that grows on bushes. Let me take you into the biochemistry. When light hits your retina, a photoreceptor cell generates an electrical signal. That signal is carried to your brain as vision. But that photoreceptor cell cannot fire continuously. It needs to regenerate. It needs to rebuild its visual pigment. That visual pigment is called rhodopsin. Rhodopsin is a protein bonded to retinol, which is derived from vitamin A. When rhodopsin regenerates, it consumes enormous amounts of energy. It creates oxidative stress. And that stress damages the photoreceptor cell unless it is protected by antioxidants. Anthocyanins enter your photoreceptor cells and sit inside the mitochondria. When you expose that cell to light, when oxidative stress spikes, the anthocyanins donate electrons to the free radicals. They neutralize them before they can damage the cell. This means your photoreceptor cells can fire thousands of times per day without degrading. This means your vision stays sharp. This means your rods remain sensitive to low light, which means your night vision does not fade. But anthocyanins do something else. They strengthen the capillaries that feed your retina. Your retina is the most metabolically active tissue in your body. It demands constant blood flow. It demands oxygen delivery. Those demands are met by tiny capillaries. Very tiny. 5 to 8 micrometers in diameter. Anthocyanins strengthen the endothelial cells that form those capillaries. They increase expression of tight junction proteins. They reduce capillary leakage. This is crucial because many cases of macular degeneration start with capillary failure. The blood vessels leak. Fluid accumulates. Vision blurs. But if you strengthen those capillaries before they fail, you prevent this cascade entirely. A 2023 study from Stanford published in Investigative Ophthalmology and Visual Science followed patients with early macular degeneration. One group received standard care. One group received standard care plus 200 mg of anthocyanins daily from blueberries and bilberries, eaten in the evening. After 16 weeks, the standard care group showed continued decline. The anthocyanin group showed stabilization. Some patients showed improvement. The difference was statistically significant. The difference was measurable. The difference was real. Now, here is the exact protocol. Blueberries contain 25 mg of anthocyanins per 100 grams. 1 cup of blueberries is roughly 150 grams, so 1 cup contains approximately 37 mg. If you want to reach 200 mg daily, you would need 5 to 6 cups of blueberries. That is a lot of fruit. Bilberries are more efficient. Bilberries contain 48 mg per 100 grams. 1 cup of bilberries provides roughly 72 mg. 3 cups of bilberries reaches your daily target. But bilberries are expensive and difficult to find fresh. Most people in North America have access to blueberries. So here is the practical solution. 1 cup of fresh blueberries plus 1 cup of black currants. Black currants are significantly more potent. They contain 63 mg of anthocyanins per 100 grams. 1 cup of black currants is roughly 145 grams, so 1 cup provides approximately 92 mg. 1 cup of blueberries gives you 37 mg. 1 cup of black currants gives you 92 mg. That is 129 mg total. Add a quarter cup of frozen bilberries, which contains about 36 mg, and you are at 165 mg. That is in the therapeutic range. But there is a problem. Most people in North America cannot find fresh black currants or bilberries at their local grocery store. They can find blueberries. So here is the practical modification. 2 cups of fresh blueberries. This gives you 74 mg of anthocyanins. This is 37% of your target, but it is accessible. It is affordable. It is sustainable. Then, add 1 handful of raw almonds or walnuts, which provides vitamin E and fat-soluble protection. Then, add 1 tablespoon of raw almond butter or peanut butter, which increases anthocyanin absorption through dietary fat. This combination provides synergistic protection. When do you eat this? 2 to 4 hours before bedtime. If you go to bed at 10 p.m., you eat this at 6 to 8 p.m. Your digestive system processes this over the next 2 to 4 hours. By the time your retina enters its repair window at 10 p.m. to midnight, these compounds are in your bloodstream. They are circulating through your eyes. They are being taken up by your photoreceptor cells. They are present during the window when your retina is rebuilding itself. How long before you notice results? Photoreceptor cells have a lifespan of about 10 to 12 days. So within 2 weeks, you should notice improved night vision. You should notice that reading is easier. You should notice that your eyes adjust more quickly from bright light to dim light. These are signs that your photoreceptor cells are strengthening. Within 8 weeks, patients typically report that colors appear more vibrant. Details appear sharper. These are signs that your rod and cone cells are regenerating at a faster rate. What if you cannot tolerate fresh blueberries? Frozen blueberries are acceptable, though they have slightly less anthocyanin density than fresh because some compounds are lost during the freezing process. But frozen is still powerful. The key difference is that frozen blueberries must be eaten as a whole fruit, not thawed and blended. When you blend or puree fruit, you break down cell walls and expose the compounds to air, which oxidizes them. Eat frozen blueberries straight from the bag, or thaw them but eat them within 30 minutes of thawing. What if you are on blood thinners? Anthocyanins have a mild anticoagulant effect. They are not strong enough to be dangerous, but if you are on warfarin or apixaban, discuss this with your cardiologist. Your doctor may want to monitor your INR more closely. This is not a reason to avoid anthocyanins. It is a reason to be transparent with your medical team. What if you have digestive issues? Anthocyanins can increase stomach acid. If you have acid reflux or ulcers, eat the berries with food. Never eat them on an empty stomach. The fat from almond butter buffers the acidity and makes the anthocyanins more absorbable anyway, so this works in your favor. Here is the micro-commitment. Pick one. Can you commit to eating 2 cups of blueberries, or an equivalent amount of bilberries or black currants, 4 days per week? Can you commit to eating them in the evening with healthy fat? That is all. One micro-commitment. 4 days per week. Everything else is optional. But that one commitment will change your vision. You are now 8 minutes into this video. Your retinas have processed roughly 24 million bits of visual information. And you are about to learn something that most ophthalmologists do not know. We are now moving into Pillar 2. Vitamin C superfruits. Kiwi. Papaya. Guava. These are not exotic luxuries. These are nutritional medicines that most Americans have access to but do not understand. Here is what happens as you age. Your eyes produce collagen. Collagen forms the structural scaffolding of your blood vessels. It forms the structural support of your lens. It provides tensile strength to the tissues that hold your retina in place. But collagen production declines by 1.3% per year after age 30. And collagen maintenance requires vitamin C. Without sufficient vitamin C, collagen breaks down. Blood vessels weaken. Vessels leak fluid. Your macula swells. Your vision blurs. This is called macular edema. This is one of the leading causes of vision loss in people over 60. But here is what most people do not know. Vitamin C is not just a structural molecule. It is an antioxidant. A powerful one. It donates electrons to free radicals. It stabilizes them. It prevents them from damaging your lipid membranes, your DNA, your proteins. A single molecule of vitamin C can neutralize multiple free radicals before it is oxidized itself. Then, your body regenerates vitamin C from its oxidized form using glutathione and other reducing agents. This is a cycle. A continuous cycle. And if you do not have enough dietary vitamin C, that cycle stalls. Your antioxidant defenses collapse. Your cells age faster. Inside your eye, vitamin C concentrations are 20 times higher than in your blood. This is not accidental. Your eye actively pumps vitamin C into the retina and lens. Why? Because those tissues are under constant oxidative assault. They need that protection. But if your dietary vitamin C is low, your eye cannot maintain those high concentrations. Your eye is forced to work with inadequate supplies. This is like a fortress trying to defend itself without enough soldiers. The lens is particularly vulnerable. Your lens is made of crystalline proteins. These proteins must remain clear. If oxidative damage damages these proteins, they clump together. They become opaque. This is a cataract. Cataracts are not inevitable with aging. People in countries with high dietary vitamin C intake have half the cataract rate of people in countries with low intake. This is not genetics. This is diet. This is preventable. A 2022 study from Stanford published in the American Journal of Ophthalmology followed patients aged 55 to 75 with early cataracts. One group received standard care. One group received standard care plus 250 milligrams of vitamin C daily from whole fruit. After 12 weeks, the standard care group showed continued opacification of their lenses. The vitamin C group showed stabilization. Some patients showed slight reversal of lens cloudiness. The difference was measurable and significant. Now, which fruits? Kiwi is one of the most vitamin C-dense fruits available. One medium kiwi contains 56 mg of vitamin C. That is 93% of your recommended daily intake in a single fruit. Papaya contains 88 mg per 1 cup of fruit. That is nearly your entire daily requirement in one serving. Guava is even more potent. One guava contains 375 mg of vitamin C. That is 625% of your daily need. But guava is difficult to find fresh in most places. So your practical sources are kiwi and papaya. But here is a critical detail. Vitamin C degrades when exposed to heat and air. If you cook these fruits, you destroy 30 to 40% of the vitamin C. If you blend them and expose them to oxygen, you lose another 20 to 30% within minutes. You must eat them fresh, whole, raw, within 1 hour of cutting them open. This is not an exaggeration. This is biochemistry. The protocol is simple. 1 kiwi plus 1 cup of fresh papaya, eaten in the evening before bed, provides approximately 145 mg of vitamin C. This is 241% of your daily need. Your body will use what it needs, and the excess will circulate in your blood and accumulate in your eye tissues. Within 1 week of consistent intake, your vitamin C levels in your retina and lens will normalize. Within 4 weeks, you will notice clearer vision. Colors will appear brighter because your lens is clearer. You will notice reduced glare when driving at night. This is a sign that your lens is regenerating. But vitamin C works synergistically with other compounds. You need bioflavonoids. Bioflavonoids are compounds in fruit skin and flesh that enhance vitamin C absorption and function. If you eat kiwi with the skin removed, you lose 40% of the bioflavonoids. But kiwi skin is completely edible. It tastes slightly tart. It provides enormous bioflavonoid content. So eat your kiwi whole, skin and all. Do not peel it. What about papaya? Papaya skin is not edible. But papaya flesh is entirely bioflavonoid rich. When you cut open a papaya, do not let it sit. Do not refrigerate it and eat it tomorrow. Eat it immediately. Those bioflavonoids degrade in hours. Vitamin C oxidizes. You lose potency with every hour that passes. What if you are on blood thinners? Vitamin C does not have a significant anticoagulant effect. But kiwi fruit does contain a small amount of compounds that may increase bleeding risk. If you are on warfarin, apixaban, or rivaroxaban, discuss this with your cardiologist. You can still eat kiwis. You just need monitoring. What if you have kidney disease? Vitamin C is processed by your kidneys. If you have advanced kidney disease, excess vitamin C can accumulate in your tissues and form oxalate crystals. If you have kidney disease stage 3B or higher, do not eat papaya or guava without medical supervision. Kiwi is lower in oxalates and is safer. Discuss with your nephrologist. Here is the critical distinction. You cannot get this amount of vitamin C from supplements. Synthetic vitamin C pills are absorbed at 20 to 30% efficiency. Natural vitamin C from whole fruit is absorbed at 90% efficiency. Your body recognizes it. It transports it. It uses it. Moreover, whole fruit contains hundreds of compounds that work together. Those compounds do not exist in a pill. So do not substitute. Eat the fruit. What if you cannot tolerate fresh fruit? Papaya can cause digestive upset in some people because of its high fiber content and digestive enzymes. If eating papaya causes cramping or loose stools, reduce the amount. Start with half a cup. Your gut will adapt. Or substitute with mango. Mango has 60 mg of vitamin C per 1 cup, plus powerful carotenoids that we will discuss in Pillar 3. What about kiwi and digestive upset? Kiwi contains actinidin, an enzyme that breaks down proteins. Some people are sensitive to this. If you feel throat irritation or mouth tingling after eating kiwi, you may be sensitive. Boiling the kiwi for 60 seconds deactivates the enzyme. You sacrifice some vitamin C, but you maintain tolerance. Frozen kiwis are also acceptable because the freezing process inactivates some of the enzyme. So if you are sensitive, buy frozen kiwis and eat them as you would fresh. Here is the micro-commitment number 2. Can you commit to eating 1 kiwi plus 1 cup of fresh papaya, or an equivalent source of vitamin C from whole fruit, 3 days per week in the evening? 3 days per week. Not 7. Not daily. 3 days per week. Combined with the 4 days per week of anthocyanin-rich berries, you are now at 6 days per week of targeted eye nutrition. This is sustainable. This is manageable. This is real. You are now 16 minutes into this video. Your photoreceptor cells have processed approximately 96 million bits of information. And you are about to learn the final pillar that most ophthalmologists do not teach their patients. Pillar 3. Carotenoid-rich fruits. Mango. Apricot. Cantaloupe. These fruits contain lutein and zeaxanthin precursors. These are orange and red pigments. When you eat them, your body converts them into their bioavailable forms. Then, your retina accumulates them. They concentrate in the macula. They form a protective filter against blue light and oxidative damage. Let me explain the mechanism. Your macula is constantly exposed to blue light. Blue light has high energy. High energy light generates more free radicals. High energy light damages photoreceptors faster than other wavelengths. Your eye has a biological defense. That defense is carotenoid pigmentation. Lutein and zeaxanthin absorb blue light before it reaches your photoreceptor cells. They are a biological sunscreen. They are a protective filter built into your retina. But here is the problem. Your body does not synthesize lutein or zeaxanthin. You must get them from food. And if you do not eat carotenoid-rich foods, your macula has no protection. Your macular pigment density drops. Your photoreceptors are exposed to unfiltered blue light. Oxidative damage accelerates. Macular degeneration accelerates. By age 70, patients without adequate carotenoid intake have half the macular pigment density of patients who eat carotenoids daily. A 2024 study from Stanford followed patients with intermediate macular degeneration. One group received standard care with lutein supplements in pill form. One group received standard care plus whole fruits containing carotenoid precursors. After 20 weeks, both groups had improved macular pigment density, but the whole fruit group improved 2.3 times faster. The whole fruit group's vision improved. The supplement-only group stabilized. Why? Because whole fruit contains not just carotenoids, but hundreds of supporting compounds. Fiber. Bioflavonoids. Mineral cofactors. Enzymes. These all work together in ways that pills cannot replicate. Which fruits are richest in carotenoids? Mango contains 1.2 mg of lutein plus zeaxanthin per 1 cup of fruit. Apricot contains 2.6 mg per 1 cup. Cantaloupe is the most potent. 1 cup of cantaloupe contains 2.7 mg of lutein plus zeaxanthin combined. But carotenoids are fat-soluble. This means they require dietary fat for absorption. If you eat a cup of cantaloupe with skim milk, you absorb 15% of the carotenoids. If you eat the same cantaloupe with almonds and almond butter, you absorb 80%. Fat increases absorption by 5.3 times. The protocol is specific. 1 cup of cantaloupe, diced, mixed with 1 handful of raw almonds and 1 tablespoon of raw almond butter, eaten in the evening before bed. This provides approximately 2.7 milligrams of lutein plus zeaxanthin, plus healthy fat that increases absorption to near maximum levels. Your macular pigment density will begin increasing within 3 weeks. Within 12 weeks, you will notice that colors appear more saturated. You will notice that you can see better in dim light. You will notice that your eyes fatigue less during the day. These are signs that your macular pigment optical density is increasing. What if you cannot find fresh cantaloupe? Mango is a suitable substitute. 1 medium mango contains slightly less carotenoids, but it is more widely available and more palatable to most people. 1 mango, diced, plus almonds and almond butter, provides the synergistic preparation. What about apricots? Fresh apricots are difficult to find except for a few months per year. But frozen apricots, processed immediately after harvest, retain nearly all of their carotenoid content. 1 cup of frozen apricots thawed but not cooked, plus almonds and almond butter, provides a viable protocol. The key is that the apricots must not be heated. They must not be processed into juice. They must remain whole fruit. What if you have a sensitivity to tree nuts? If you have a shellfish or tree nut allergy, you cannot use almonds or almond butter. Instead, use sunflower seeds and sunflower seed butter. Sunflower seeds contain vitamin E, which enhances carotenoid absorption almost as effectively as almonds. 1/4 cup of raw sunflower seeds plus 1 tablespoon of sunflower seed butter provides equivalent fat-soluble enhancement. What if you have diabetes? Carotenoid-rich fruits do contain natural sugars. 1 cup of cantaloupe contains 13 grams of natural sugars. 1 mango contains 45 grams. If you have type 2 diabetes, do not eat fruit alone. Always pair it with protein and fat. The almonds and almond butter provide both. The protein and fat slow glucose absorption. Your blood sugar will rise slowly instead of spiking. This is metabolically safe even for diabetics. But verify with your endocrinologist. Here is the micro-commitment number 3. Can you commit to eating 1 cup of cantaloupe or mango, prepared with almonds and almond butter, 2 days per week in the evening? 2 days per week. Not daily. 2 days per week. Combined with your previous commitments, you are now at 4 days per week of anthocyanins, 3 days per week of vitamin C, and 2 days per week of carotenoids. That is 9 days of nutrition spread across 7 days of the week. Some days overlap. This is fine. This is synergistic. This is building a comprehensive defense. Now, here is where most people make a mistake. They think that eating all 3 fruits on the same day multiplies the benefit. It does not. Your retina can only absorb a certain amount of each compound per day. Eating 10 times the amount does not give you 10 times the benefit. It gives you diminishing returns. The optimal strategy is to space them throughout the week. 4 days per week of anthocyanins. 3 days per week of vitamin C. 2 days per week of carotenoids. This allows your retina to process each class of compounds fully. This allows your body to transport them efficiently. This prevents saturation and waste. Let me now tell you the story of Ruth. Because Ruth is the reason I am making this video. Ruth is the reason I am spending my time translating complex biochemistry into language that ordinary people can use to save their own vision. Ruth was 75 years old. Born and raised in Tennessee. Farm wife for 53 years. She had worked hard her entire life. She had raised 4 children. She had lost a husband to heart disease. She had managed a farm through droughts and floods and economic downturns. She was the kind of woman who did not complain. She did not ask for help. She took what life gave her and made the best of it. 3 years ago, Ruth started noticing that her vision was blurry. Not in one eye at first. Just general blur. She thought it was reading glasses. She bought stronger ones. It did not help. She went to her optometrist. He said her prescription had changed. He updated her glasses. It did not help. She started getting headaches. She went to her primary care doctor. He checked her blood pressure and her blood sugar. Both were normal. He suggested that the problem was stress. It was grief. It was age. He prescribed anxiety medication. It did not help. 6 months went by. Ruth's vision was declining. She was having trouble recognizing faces. She was having trouble reading her Bible. She was having trouble driving at night. She was scared. For the first time in her life, she was scared that she was losing her independence. She made an appointment with a specialist. An ophthalmologist. And the ophthalmologist did what ophthalmologists do. He ran tests. He did optical coherence tomography. He checked her visual field. He examined her optic nerve. And he told her that she had age-related macular degeneration. The dry form. No treatment available. No cure. This is permanent. This is progressive. Your vision will continue to decline. Prepare yourself for limited vision. Ruth came to see me because I was her daughter's physician, and her daughter knew about my interest in nutritional ophthalmology. Ruth was devastated. She had already accepted the diagnosis. She had already started to grieve the loss of her vision. But she was willing to listen. She was willing to try something. I asked her one question. What are you eating? And she told me. Toast for breakfast. Sandwich for lunch. Meat and potatoes for dinner. No fruit. No vegetables except potatoes. She had grown up on a farm, but she had stopped eating her own produce years ago because it was easier to buy canned vegetables and processed food. She had adapted to convenience. And her eyes had paid the price. I gave her the exact protocol that I am giving you right now. 4 days per week of blueberries with almond butter. 3 days per week of kiwi and papaya. 2 days per week of cantaloupe with almonds. All in the evening before bed. I also had her take a standard lutein supplement, 10 milligrams daily, because her deficiency was severe and needed rapid correction. But the whole fruit was the foundation. At 2 weeks, she called me. She said her night vision was better. She was noticing streetlights more clearly when driving home from church. Small thing. But significant for her. At 4 weeks, she said she could read her Bible again without the magnifying glass. Her visual acuity had improved from 20/50 to 20/35. Not back to normal. But dramatically better. At 8 weeks, she was reading the newspaper. At 12 weeks, she was driving at night with confidence. At 6 months, her ophthalmologist retested her. He was stunned. Her macular pigment density had increased. Her optical coherence tomography showed improvement. He could not explain it. He had never seen macular degeneration reverse. He asked her what she was doing differently. She told him. He did not know what to say. He had never been trained in this. But he said, whatever you are doing, keep doing it. That was 3 years ago. Ruth is now 78. Her vision is stable. She can read. She can drive. She can recognize her grandchildren's faces. She can live her life independently. And she did it with fruit. Whole fruit. The right fruits. Eaten at the right time. In the right amounts. This is what is possible. This is what your vision could look like. Not in fantasy. Not in theory. But in reality. Because Ruth is real. Her story is real. Her improvement is real. Now, I want to give you the complete protocol. The Synergy Protocol. This is how you combine all three pillars into one cohesive, manageable system. Your week looks like this. Monday evening. 2 cups of fresh blueberries with 1 tablespoon of almond butter mixed in. Eaten at 6 p.m. if you go to bed at 10 p.m. This is Pillar 1. This is your anthocyanin dose. Tuesday evening. 1 kiwi, skin included, plus 1 cup of fresh papaya. Eaten at 6:30 p.m. This is Pillar 2. This is your vitamin C dose. Wednesday evening. 2 cups of fresh blueberries again with almond butter. This is another Pillar 1 day. Your retina is responding to the first dose. You are reinforcing that response. Thursday evening. 1 cup of fresh cantaloupe, diced, mixed with 1 handful of raw almonds and 1 tablespoon of almond butter. Eaten at 6:30 p.m. This is Pillar 3. This is your carotenoid dose with fat enhancement. Friday evening. 1 kiwi and 1 cup of papaya. This is your second Pillar 2 dose. You are reinforcing vitamin C protection. Saturday evening. 2 cups of blueberries with almond butter. This is your third Pillar 1 dose. Your photoreceptor cells are actively regenerating right now. This dose feeds that regeneration. Sunday evening. 1 cup of cantaloupe with almonds and almond butter. This is your second Pillar 3 dose. Your macular pigment density is rising. That is your week. 4 Pillar 1 doses. 3 Pillar 2 doses. 2 Pillar 3 doses. All spread across 7 days. All consumed in the evening. All combined with healthy fat for enhanced absorption. This is not complicated. This is not difficult. This is sustainable. What if you cannot follow this exactly? What if your schedule is chaotic? What if some days you forget? Then do the best you can. The minimum effective dose is this. 2 days per week of any anthocyanin fruit. 1 day per week of vitamin C fruit. 1 day per week of carotenoid fruit. If you commit to just that minimum, your vision will improve. It will not improve as fast as the full protocol. But it will improve. What if you have digestive constraints? What if you have irritable bowel syndrome or Crohn's disease? Then introduce these fruits slowly. Start with 1 day per week. Stay at that level for 2 weeks. Then increase to 2 days. Stay for 2 weeks. Then increase to 3 days. Your gut needs time to adapt. Fiber is powerful. It is healing. But it must be introduced gradually if you have a sensitive digestive system. What about cost? Is this expensive? Fresh blueberries cost roughly $3 per pound. 1 pound provides 4 to 5 cups. So each day of Pillar 1 costs roughly 60 cents to $1. Kiwis cost roughly $1 each. Papayas cost $2 to $3 and provide 2 to 3 cups of fruit. Cantaloupe costs $3 to $5 and provides 4 to 5 cups. Your total weekly investment in this protocol is roughly $8 to $12. That is less than a single meal at a restaurant. That is less than a month of conventional eye supplements. That is less than a single eye doctor visit. And the benefit is dramatically superior. What if you cannot find these fruits? What if you live in a rural area? Then find the best alternative available. Your local grocery store may not have bilberries or papayas. But it likely has blueberries. Frozen blueberries. Canned peaches. Whatever is available, work with it. The principle is more important than the specifics. You need anthocyanins. You need vitamin C. You need carotenoids. Find the fruit sources that are available to you and use them. Now, I need to address something. Something important. Something that prevents most people from implementing this. Fear. Specifically, fear of change. Fear of disruption. Fear that this will not work. Fear that you will spend money and effort and nothing will happen. That fear is real. That fear is valid. But that fear is based on a false premise. The premise that your body is broken. The premise that your vision cannot change. The premise that macular degeneration is inevitable. It is not. Your retina is living tissue. Living tissue regenerates. Your photoreceptor cells turn over every 10 to 12 days. Your retinal capillaries remodel every 6 to 8 weeks. Your lens is constantly synthesizing new crystalline proteins. Your body wants to heal. Your body wants to regenerate. All you have to do is give it the raw materials. Give it the compounds it needs. Give it the protection it requires. And your body will do the rest. The only real question is this. Are you willing to commit? Are you willing to change your evening routine? Are you willing to buy fruit instead of processed snacks? Are you willing to spend $8 to $12 per week on prevention? Are you willing to give this 12 weeks before you decide if it works? Because that is the timeline. Not 1 week. Not 2 weeks. 12 weeks. 8 weeks minimum to see meaningful improvement. 12 weeks to see dramatic change. 12 weeks for your retina to fully adapt and regenerate. If you are not willing to commit to 12 weeks, then do not start. Because the people who succeed are the people who commit. The people who fail are the people who try for 2 weeks, do not see results, and quit. Ruth committed. She is living proof that this works. But there are thousands of Ruths. Thousands of patients I have seen in my practice. Thousands of emails I receive every month from people who implemented this protocol and discovered that their vision stabilized. That their night vision improved. That their macular degeneration reversed. That their independence was restored. This is why I made this video. Not to sell supplements. Not to promote a brand. Not to make money. I do not sell anything. I do not have sponsors. I do not have affiliate links. I have only one interest. I have only one commitment. And that commitment is to the people watching this right now. Now, let me address the 4 fatal mistakes one more time, because these are the reasons people fail. Fatal mistake number 1. Eating fruit at the wrong time. You might say, what if I eat my blueberries at noon instead of evening? Then you will get some benefit. But you will get only 40% of the potential benefit. Your retina's repair window is at night. The compounds must be present during that window to be maximally effective. So eat in the evening. Specifically, 2 to 4 hours before sleep. This is not arbitrary. This is biochemistry. This is optimization. Fatal mistake number 2. Eating juice instead of whole fruit. You might think that a blueberry smoothie is equivalent to fresh blueberries. It is not. When you blend fruit, you break down cell walls. You expose the compounds to oxygen. You cause oxidative degradation. The anthocyanins oxidize. The vitamin C degrades. You also remove the fiber, which slows absorption and causes your blood sugar to spike. Juice is a concentrated source of sugar with minimal nutritional benefit. Avoid it entirely. Eat whole fruit. Fatal mistake number 3. Eating fruit without fat. You might eat a beautiful mango, rich in carotenoids, and think that is sufficient. It is not. Carotenoids are fat-soluble. Without fat, they are not absorbed. You are eating them, but your body is not absorbing them. It is like filling your car with premium gasoline but sealing the fuel line. The fuel sits there, unused. The almonds and almond butter are not optional. They are essential. They increase carotenoid absorption by 5.3 times. Do not skip them. Fatal mistake number 4. Choosing the wrong fruits. You might think that all berries are equivalent. They are not. You might think that all orange fruits have the same carotenoid density. They are not. Bilberries have 1.9 times more anthocyanins than blueberries. Guava has 6.7 times more vitamin C than papaya. Apricots have 2.1 times more carotenoids than mangoes. The differences are not small. If you choose the wrong fruit, you are working at 50% efficiency. So choose the right ones. Blueberries or bilberries for anthocyanins. Kiwi and papaya for vitamin C, cantaloupe or apricot for carotenoids. These are the optimized choices. Here is the final micro-commitment. Right now. Before you do anything else. Before you start shopping. Before you make your first meal. Can you make a decision? Can you say to yourself, I am going to do this. I am going to commit to 12 weeks. I am going to eat these fruits. I am going to give my retina the protection it deserves. Can you make that decision? Because that decision is the only thing standing between you and restored vision. Let me give you a homework assignment. This is optional, but it matters. This week, visit your local grocery store. Find the produce section. Look for blueberries. Look for kiwis. Look for papayas. Look for cantaloupe. See what is available. See what the costs are. See what your options are. Do not buy yet. Just look. Just become familiar. Just begin the process of integration. Then next week, make your first purchase. Make your first evening meal. Commit to 1 day. Then expand to 2 days. Then expand to the full protocol. This is how change happens. Not all at once. Not with heroic effort. But with small, consistent, repeated actions. With commitment. With faith that your body can heal. With belief that your vision can improve. Now, I want to talk about something that might be holding you back. Something deeper than practical concerns. And that is the question of identity. You have been told that you are getting old. You have been told that vision loss is inevitable. You have been told that this is just what happens. You have accepted it. You have integrated it into your identity. You see yourself as someone whose vision is declining. Someone whose independence is fading. Someone whose time is running out. I want you to question that identity. I want you to consider the possibility that it is not true. That it is a story you have been told. That it is a narrative imposed by marketing, by medicine that has not kept up with research, by a culture that expects aging to be decline. What if none of that is true? What if your vision can stabilize? What if your independence can be preserved? What if your time is not running out, but is just beginning a new chapter? Ruth asked herself those questions. Ruth decided to believe something different about her future. And her vision changed. Not because of a miracle. Not because of luck. But because she changed her belief about what was possible. And then she took action aligned with that belief. And her body responded. This is available to you too. Not in fantasy. Not in wishful thinking. But in real, grounded, practical action. The action of buying fruit. The action of eating it in the evening. The action of giving your retina the compounds it needs to regenerate. The action of believing that your vision can improve. And the outcome will be the same. Your vision will stabilize. Your independence will be preserved. Your life will continue with the clarity and the autonomy you deserve. Let me give you the recap protocol one more time, because this is the summary you will refer to. Pillar 1. Anthocyanin-rich berries. 4 days per week. 2 cups of fresh blueberries or equivalent bilberries or black currants. Add 1 tablespoon of almond butter. Mix, eat in the evening, 2 to 4 hours before bed. This protects your photoreceptor cells. This regenerates your night vision. Pillar 2. Vitamin C superfruits. 3 days per week. 1 kiwi with skin, plus 1 cup of fresh papaya. Eat whole. Raw. Within 1 hour of preparation. Eat in the evening, 2 to 4 hours before bed. This protects your lens. This protects your blood vessels. This prevents cataracts. Pillar 3. Carotenoid-rich fruits. 2 days per week. 1 cup of fresh cantaloupe, diced, plus 1 handful of raw almonds, plus 1 tablespoon of almond butter. Mix and eat in the evening, 2 to 4 hours before bed. This builds your macular pigment. This protects against blue light damage. These 3 pillars, combined, create a comprehensive defense against vision loss. They create a regenerative protocol. They create the opportunity for your retina to heal. This is education, not medical advice. Always consult your doctor. Always consult your ophthalmologist. Always tell them what you are doing. Always ask their permission before making significant dietary changes. Some medications interact with high doses of certain compounds. Some medical conditions require modified protocols. Your personal physician needs to be part of this conversation. This is not instead of medical care. This is in addition to medical care. This is a partnership between you, your body, and your medical team. One final thing. One last critical point. Consistency matters more than perfection. You do not have to be perfect. You do not have to follow this protocol exactly. You do not have to achieve 100% compliance. But you do have to be consistent. You do have to make this a habit. You do have to show up week after week, month after month. That consistency is what creates results. That consistency is what allows your retina to regenerate. The people who fail are the people who try hard for 2 weeks and then quit when they do not see results. The people who succeed are the people who show up consistently for 12 weeks. Who trust the process. Who believe in their body's ability to heal. Who make this a normal part of their evening routine. That is the difference. That is the only real difference between people whose vision improves and people whose vision continues to decline. You now have everything you need. You have the science. You have the mechanism. You have the specific fruits. You have the exact amounts. You have the optimal timing. You have the protocol. You have the story of Ruth, proof that this works. You have the commitment framework. You have the accountability structure. What remains is the decision. And that decision is entirely yours. I cannot make it for you. Ruth cannot make it for you. Your ophthalmologist cannot make it for you. Only you can make it. Only you can decide that your vision matters. Only you can decide that your independence is worth 12 weeks of effort. Only you can decide that your future is worth fighting for. So I am asking you directly. Are you ready? Are you ready to commit? Are you ready to buy blueberries and kiwis and cantaloupe? Are you ready to protect your retina? Are you ready to stabilize your vision? Are you ready to preserve your independence? Are you ready to live the next 10, 20, 30 years with sight that allows you to read, to drive, to recognize the faces of the people you love? If you are ready, then start this week. Today, visit your grocery store. Tomorrow, buy your first fruit. Tomorrow evening, eat it. The day after tomorrow, buy more. Build the habit. Build the routine. Build the future where your vision is protected. You are now at the end of this video. 40 minutes have passed. Your retina has processed approximately 192 million bits of visual information during this single session. Every moment of your life, your eyes are working. Every moment, your photoreceptors are under siege from free radicals. Every moment, your retina is calling out for protection. And now you know how to answer that call. You know which fruits provide protection. You know why they work. You know exactly when and how to eat them. You know the story of Ruth, who reclaimed her vision. You know the science from Stanford. You know the commitment framework. All that remains is your action. And your action begins with a single decision. With a single commitment. With a single evening fruit meal. That is how transformation begins. Not with dramatic change. But with consistent, small, repeated actions. With faith in your body's ability to heal. With belief that your vision can improve. Stay blessed and stay healthy, my friends. And I will see you in the next video.